The term police militarization can make the military look bad, because if people think that the police are looking like the military, that they assume that this perverted form of police is what the military looks like, and it doesn't look anything like what the military does. Here are 5 lessons the police can learn from the military when it comes to crowd control.
There is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement.
Leaders in police have to have an understanding on how, when, and what degree to use force, and this is only accomplished through extensive training. Buying equipment is just the beginning. Often having equipment without training is more dangerous and less effective than having no equipment at all.
There is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement.
Crowds are composed of real people expressing a real grievance. Most protesters are law-abiding citizens exercising their fundamental right to assembly. They must be respected.
There is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement.
Use open dialogue with protest leaders, as this often avoids misunderstandings and results in protesters policing themselves. Coercion of crowds, on the other hand, rarely results in good outcomes and often exacerbates the unrest.
There is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement.
Police should negotiate their actions based on crowd behaviors. A nonviolent crowd warrants a nonviolent police response. The unnecessary use of tear gas and guns tends to add to crowd panic and only increases rather than decreases unrest. If a crowd becomes violent, police should respond with the least amount of force necessary.
There is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement.
Recording everything in a civil disturbance helps hold everyone accountable for their actions, police and protesters alike. In addition to police recording themselves, media should not be treated as an enemy. Stifling or repressing the media only gives the impression that the police are trying to hide something. If law enforcement followed these 5 lessons from the Army, we would have safer communities built on mutual trust between the citizens and the police.